coming
Because
up.
I can see that our battle is a warfare between good and evil, right and wrong, and that the word racism is made up by race hustlers like the so-called civil rights movement people and the liberal whites. Those words are made. That
Is
word
that
is
is that
made.
how you feel, Jesse, as a black man?
Yeah, that word is made up in order to divide and control and conquer.
Well, I do. This is going to be a great interview because you met your match here, Jesse. Uh,
Few minutes later.
Push.
Jesse, I was told today we weren't talking about family values. Maybe my publicist got the wrong information. I was told we were talking about Destiny's Child, and if we're not talking about Destiny's Child, then we certainly need to reschedule this interview.
They had families the way you and I did growing up. Would they be in jail? Would there be poverty in the manner that it is? Would there be all this stuff happening if they grew up with a decent father and mother?
Well, I can't answer that for you. I know a lot of mothers that do, a lot of black mothers that do an incredible job, and they live with their own without a father in the home.
Where are they?
I know a lot of dads also. So it's a different age, a different era. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
Are you about to run? He ran. He ran. Oh my God. That was Beyonce's daddy. What's his name? Matthew Knowles. Matthew Knowles ran from Jesse Lee Peterson. Beta!
Welcome, Culture Warriors. Today is another wonderful installment of Culture War. Every video is a war against wokeism. Great to have you guys here. My name is Roland. How y'all doing? In today's video, Jesse is going to be interviewing or debating Beyonce's father. Yes, the Beyonce that you know, the Jay-Z Beyonce, okay? That one, yes. He's going to be debating him today on various topics. So I'd like you to pay attention. Let's learn something from this. I'll be able to chime in maybe within the video, or if not, you'll see me at the very end of the video. Until then, let's check it out.
I am so happy to be here, Jesse. I just have one addition to the introduction, which I very much appreciate.
Yes.
But I have two superstar daughters. I have to remind people.
That's
I have
right.
a second daughter, Solange, that's a Grammy Award winner, multiple awards, #1 debut album on billboards. And when you get to that level, you have to be acknowledged as a superstar also.
Why do you think, that's a very good point. Why do you think people tend to leave her out?
I think people forget. I'm sure, and I was thinking about this, Jesse. It's an interesting you asked. I think people forgot and forget with Venus and Serena Williams. They just forget that, you know, Beyonce and Solange together are the only two sisters in the history, when you make history of music, to have #1 debut albums in the same year.
Yeah.
And I just bring to people attention, Solange is successful in her own right and write a lot of those songs we know by Beyonce and Destiny's Child.
What's the difference between racism and hatred? Because I can see that our battle is a warfare between good and evil, right and wrong, and that the word racism is made up by race hustlers like the so-called civil rights movement people and the liberal whites. Those words are made. That word
is that how you feel, Jesse, as a black man?
Yeah, that word is made up in order to divide and control and conquer. Whereas when I was growing up in Alabama, we knew that it was a battle between good and evil, right and wrong. There were good in all races. There were bad in all races. How would you define hatred or evil?
But you use a term. You call Martin Luther King a racial hustler?
Well, I don't think I don't think that was his intention when he first started out, but I think it came about once he allowed Jesse Jackson and all those other people to get involved. I think that changed the original meaning of the so-called, I guess, civil rights movement. They changed it and made it so that they can take over the hearts and minds of the people and call themselves leaders of the blacks.
Well, I do. This is going to be a great interview because you met your match here, Jesse. Uh,
You're,
so this is going to
that's
be a
right.
great interview. I don't get emotional. I'm going to be very intellectual and heartfelt.
Right on.
So get ready for it, okay?
All right.
I'm a college professor. I believe in allowing my students and to give them a perspective on life.
Right on.
So as a college professor, 12 years now, I'm glad to see you have a perspective. It's totally different than mine. So we can agree to disagree on our perspective. But I don't see it the way you saw it.
But I'd like to know what happened to the blacks that even the men act like the women. I understand the woman need a man over her to guide her the right way to go. Otherwise, she goes out of control. But what happened to the black men that they act like women and they look to somebody to lead them? And
You mean currently the younger generation?
the
'Cause
older,
I don't see
well,
that in my. I'm
the,
68 years old. I don't see that in my generation.
right. Well, from your generation down, from our generation, that's when it seemed to have started. What happened to the black men that they would look to another man to lead them? How did they lose a sense of self
Oh,
control?
I understand your question better. I don't think leadership. I don't think leadership is defined by gender. You have many women that are effective leaders.
Really? Can you
Absolutely.
name
Well,
one?
well, the president of Xerox Corporation. You've heard of Xerox before, right?
I know, but she's not a leader. She worked for Xerox.
She was. She's not currently, but she
Right,
was a
but she has to
president.
follow the manual. She's not like a leader. A leader is
Well,
someone who is the
well,
light of a family. The man is the head of his wife and children.
okay.
And
Are
the
we
wife,
talking in a family setting leadership,
no,
or
I'm
are we
talking in a
talking?
non-family. The blacks are looking to the black men are looking to other men and women to lead them. It's just so abnormal, and it's the blacks who are the only ones that are living that way. What happened to them
What do you
along the
call?
way?
What do you call the president of the United States? Is he a states? Is that person a leader of the country?
He represents the country. He looks out for what is best for the country, but he's not an individual leader of anyone.
But looking out what's best, is that not leadership? Part of
Yeah,
leadership?
but it's nothing direct. You know what I'm talking about. Like the blacks, they look to Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Louis Farrakhan, the Wicked Witch of the West, Maxine Waters, the NAACP. Like they're out riding and carrying on now like animals instead of being common sense kind of people.
Jesse,
What
I
happened to
can't.
them?
Jesse, I can't subscribe to that type of dialogue and behavior. I have a different view than yours.
You wrote a book about your daughter Beyonce called Destiny Child, The Untold Story. How much of an impact did it have on your children to be successful by having two parents in the home?
I think that's key and critical. Um, I think if you look at most of us today that had two parents in their
Yeah,
home, they're pretty stable, and their marriages is pretty stable. I think it's critical and important because in a lot of Black families today, you don't have
yeah,
both.
yeah. But why do you think that's not pushed? Because one thing that I have a nonprofit organization called Bond, and we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man, and encouraging men to get married, men and women to get married before starting to have children, because it impacts the family in a very, very good, positive way. Why do you think that's not pushed today by the so-called leadership of the blacks? It's more, there doesn't seem to be a shame about having children out of wedlock, and they are fighting the whites and trying to take from them rather than pushing the idea of the family and then teaching their children the right way to go. Why do you
Yeah,
think
I
the
don't know
family is
about
not pushed?
that, Jesse. I was told today we weren't talking about family values. Maybe my publicist got the wrong information. I was told we were talking about Destiny's Child, and if we're not talking about Destiny's Child, then we certainly need to reschedule this interview.
Yeah, we'll get into that now, and that's why I'm asking. With your
Yeah.
family, you came from a family. I came from a family: father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, and likewise you did too. My son is doing very well, and so as your
Good.
kids are
Thank
doing very
you. I
well.
congratulate you for that your son is doing well.
Yeah. And so my question, by you being a professor and you out there and you see what's going on, why do you think the family is not being pushed in the black community today?
I don't agree with that family is not being pushed. But again, Jesse, um, that's not why I'm here today. That's not my purpose. Again, I have a quite a busy schedule. If we're not going to talk about Destiny Shaw, I just really would like to end the interview.
But we are talking about it.
Yeah.
Are you a Christian?
I believe in faith. I don't give it titles.
Oh, so,
I believe in faith. I believe in the universe. I believe that if the evil that we do comes back to us in karma. I don't give it titles. I've been growing up a Baptist.
yeah.
I was talking about this just last night. When I married my former wife, one of the parts of that was I had to become a Catholic. So I was a Catholic.
Yeah.
I then we found as a family we founded a Methodist church that I think currently has about 15,000 members. So I'm spiritual. I believe in faith along with science, and I believe in karma and universe. I don't believe in giving it titles, Baptist, Christian, Muslim. I just believe in doing the right thing in my life. All the guys.
Your book talk a little bit about Jay-Z, Beyonce's husband, and what impact did he have on Beyonce?
Well, he married her.
Has he had a good impact or a negative?
Oh, he's had a positive impact. I have nothing but wonderful things to say about Jay-Z. I really just recently have really had the time to spend before the coronavirus and before. But Jay-Z is a smart young man. He loves his family without a question. And he wants best for them. So I have absolutely nothing but positive things to say about Jay.
I noticed that, and I don't know what Beyonce was like before marrying him because I wasn't aware of her at the time. And I noticed that she seemed to become very radical. She did a performance at a Super Bowl game or something like that. And she wore black, and she was doing the black power, black power, black power. And she's into the Black Lives Matter thing. What caused her, if it wasn't her husband's influence, what caused her to become so radical?
Her mother and father. That's an easy answer. I didn't even have to hesitate on that.
You mean you and your wife caused her to become so radical?
Yeah, Solange is also radical.
And why would you do that to them?
Do what to them?
Cause them to become so radical, kind of all into the black
radical,
thing.
Radical is not a negative word. Radical means that you also bring awareness. Radical doesn't mean that I'm out, defaming and putting down people. Radical mean that we want to have power, black power. That can mean financial power. We are $1 trillion. If we look at all the revenue generated by blacks in America, we would be the same as a whole country. So we're talking about economic power when we say black power. We're talking about family power. We're talking about, so I don't see that being the word radical.
But
I was a radical, let me just finish, please. I was a radical at Xerox Corporation where I worked for 10 years. I was president of the Black organization at Xerox. So I'm proud to say that Xerox became the #1 corporation for blacks in America to work in. I think sometimes radical is just bringing awareness and letting someone else know your opinion in a strong way, not in a forceful way, but sometimes sitting at the table. I don't view that. But so my kids saw their parents. My former wife and my friend Tina, She was radical. She had the big afro. I went to Fisk University after going to University of Tennessee. We were very radical. We had
Amazing.
well, I mean,
I
Fisk
had no idea that
University.
came from her parents. I thought she was influenced by that
No,
radical husband of hers.
no.
But this whole idea of black power is evil. It's an evil idea because there's no such thing as black power. Black people can live as people just like normal people if they want to work hard and have a lot of money and live in certain places. And if they want to support other black businesses or white business or whatever, it's best to go that route because when you go radical like that and promote all this black power and black lives matter and all that crap, all you do is divide the races just as the blacks accuse the whites of doing with KKK. Why become like what you hate?
No, that's your perception of that, Jesse. I think I started this out by saying that I don't take it personally when you have a perspective. I don't take that personally. And I don't have to agree with your perspective. I don't agree with your perspective. And I choose not to have to defend my perspective. I'm merely saying that my definition of radical could be totally different than your definition of radical, because your definition appears, I can't speak for you, but it only appears that it's a negative thing. My definition of radical is change, a change in behavior to modify the way that we behave. And so I'm using the word radical in a positive way. And when I say black power, I say that in a positive way, not in a negative way.
But
For the same reason that go ahead, I'm sorry.
how can you believe in God and believe in something called black power? That is nothing. There's no love in that. It doesn't unite. It divides.
But again,
it has a
Jesse,
negative impact on children who are born out of wedlock. Look at the impact that is having on all these black children that are born out of wedlock that don't have fathers and mothers to guide them. They now hate white people. They're very radical. They burn down buildings. They loot. They riot. They have no sense of self-control. And people like Beyonce and Beyonce, Michelle, and Obama and all them, they encourage that type of hatred with this black power thing.
I don't know who Beyonce is, but
she's married. That's your daughter married to Jay-Z.
well, you said Beyonce and then Beyonce, and I got confused. So
okay.
But look, Jesse, you are certainly have your opinion. So I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today.
I know you're about to run, but one little back a little thing. If the blacks had families rather than all this black power crap that caused them to feel like victims, if they had families the way you and I did growing up, would they be in jail? Would there be poverty in the manner that it is? Would there be all this stuff happening if they grew up with a decent father and mother?
Well, I can't answer that for you. I know a lot of mothers that do, a lot of black mothers that do an incredible job, and they live with their own without a father in the home. I know.
Where are they?
I know a lot of dads also. So it's a different age, a different era. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
Are you about to run? No, he ran. Yeah. He ran. Oh my God. That was Beyonce's daddy. What's his name? Matthew Knowles. Matthew Knowles ran from Jesse Lee Peterson. Beta!
Jesse did it again. Ran another guest out of the show. Very funny. You know what I've noticed about Beyonce's father is that in this particular video that he wasn't interested in anything else than to promote his family, promote his daughters, and to promote his books and his in-law Jay-Z. He wasn't interested in anything because Jesse tried so many times to push into certain topics like the family, tried to push in so many topics like get him to respond to things like racism and stuff like that. But you see that he wasn't having it. He wasn't even interested at all. This is so sad for coming from a professor, a so-called professor who should be able to share his wealth of knowledge to add value to to the world basically. But he wasn't he doesn't want to be in a position of responsibility, and it's just quite sad. People like us, people like we look up to older people like him to learn from them, but we don't see these people to learn from, and that's part of the problems we have in the society today. Generally, there's no good mentor, and even the mentors, the so-called people who are supposed to be mentors now, are not even playing their roles well, and that's why the younger ones don't know who to look up to, and they behave in a manner any way they want to behave, and that's why the society is upside down the way it is right now. So I don't know what your opinions are. Please drop them in the comment section. And my lovely people, please, if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Hit the subscribe button and turn off the notification bell so that whenever I drop a new video, you'll be informed. Until I see you in the next one, my name remains Roland. Bye bye.